Hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing okay. I'm not feeling 100% today. I'm actually going through a bit of a migraine, which if you've been following me for a while, you'll know that I get them regularly, about once a month or so. But what I've been trying to learn how to do is use the pain as a bridge to further understanding what life is trying to share with me, what may be trying to be processed through me, and working on integrating those things. But the trick that I've been doing is, even though I'm trying to reduce the amount of painkillers that I use, I actually used to use Advil quite often when I would have them, but now I can no longer use it because of the side effects it's giving me. So I use something else that doesn't have as many side effects. What I've been doing is taking a painkiller so that I get to a point where the pain is tolerable enough so that I can tap into it and get the insight that I need. Because the thing is that if I'm in too much pain, it just takes over me. I can't think straight. I can't feel, and it's hard for me to perceive when I'm in that much pain. So I have to reduce the pain enough so that it's not distracting me, if that makes sense. So that's what I've been working on. I've been using pain as more of a bridge to further understanding what's going on and getting whatever insight I need. And I feel that has been quite beneficial and productive. Doesn't mean that I'll be migraine free tomorrow, but it does mean that if there is something that needs to be integrated, or if there's any kind of resistance that I'm subconsciously putting out there, that I'll have more of an awareness that it's there and whatever needs to be worked through. But anyway, that's not why I wanted to come on and make this video. I actually wanted to share what I've been feeling, which is actually part of the reason why I feel like I have a migraine to begin with, is because I really feel like there has been such an expansion of energy recently. So, as you know, we've entered the new year within the past few days. And I know a lot of people within kind of like the New Age communities or New Thought or even like the witchy communities don't consider the start of January to be the actual new year. They consider spring to more so be the new year, which I can't blame them for. I do kind of agree with that. But I also do feel that January can hold the energy of new beginnings. It doesn't necessarily mean that you'll see everything come into fruition in January, but you may start to feel some sense of a new chapter beginning. And that's what I have been feeling recently, especially this morning. That's when I really started to feel these new energies come in, this sense of not just beginning anew, but really kind of like this. The sense I get is almost as if there's like an emotional cleansing or like an emotional purging that we're going through. And this could happen through situations presenting themselves or things coming up in our lives that cause emotional reactions within us, and then we have to confront certain things. And whether that be confronting it within ourselves or having the conversations necessary to clear things up that cause emotional issues for us. So it may present itself as situations like that, and then perhaps we may need to connect more to the water element in order to help balance our emotions or get in touch with those emotions more and see what is the wisdom behind them, what insight those emotions are trying to share with us. And perhaps that might be the need to really get to the root of the problem and start forgiving, start moving on. And again, if you've been following me for a while, you'll know that I have a slightly different definition of what it means to forgive. So if you're curious about that, You can always put in that word in my channel, like the search bar, and you'll find the videos that I have on forgiveness, so you can know when I say forgiveness, what I actually mean. But I do feel there's the sense of we are closing out some old cycles and old lessons, and that can happen through dramatic situations happening, emotional situations happening where we have to communicate more, where we have to express ourselves more, and maybe say, you know what, this is how I feel, this is not okay with me, this is what I want. How can I describe it? It's like there's a sense that I'm getting is that these situations that arise can trigger old memories within us. Times in the past, situations where we were not honored properly, or maybe we didn't feel like it was safe for us to communicate, or we didn't feel like we had the power to communicate our needs, or the safe space within us to say what it is that we wanted. Maybe we didn't feel like we were worth speaking up for our own selves and that we should just endure things. But what I feel with the closing out of these cycles and the closing out of these old lessons is it's giving us the chance to revive our spirit, to be reborn, and to come into an energy of strength and empowerment to really stand up for what it is that is important to us. And what people need to remember, what you guys need to remember about situations like this, is that this is very important for establishing a sense of identity and a sense of individuality and a sense of boundary. What is it that you desire? What is it that you stand for? What is it that's important to you? And I know that in a lot of these spiritual circles, there's this focus on union and unity and coming together and moving beyond differences. But I personally feel that in order for true union or unity, whatever it might be, to happen, is we need to know who we are first and what we stand for first. And we need to have that sense of what is ours and what belongs to somebody else. So it's not individuality or unity, it's individuality and unity and coming together. But we need to be able to establish ourselves first. And I feel that in this time, that's what some of us may be working on doing. I know that's what I've been experiencing. And when I experience something, I like to share it with other people because they may be going through it as well. So I know it's not just me. So with this feeling of emotional purging and cleansing through these dramatic experiences where we're forgiving and moving forward, there's so much light that's coming in with it that we can work with, which will help us to have a new beginning. So again, we're closing off these old karmic cycles where we've been doing things the same way for years and years and years, and now we're finally ready to start doing things differently. And you know how things work. When we're ready to start doing things differently, everything else in our surroundings follows suit, and it shifts with us. So one of the things that I also feel would be beneficial for this cycle, or this period that we're in, is to really leave a lot of space for imagination, for daydreaming, allowing ourselves to daydream and contemplate a bit. And this isn't the same as having a strong focus on something and really thinking about something, but just allowing the mind to wander a bit and to see where that flow takes you. There's something very creatively expansive about that. There's something that in that practice will lead us to some sort of I guess, enchantment and magical kind of experience, in the sense that when we allow our minds to wander, we move into these realms of new possibility. So where maybe before there were certain limitations on what we felt was possible, giving ourselves the chance to daydream and let our mind wander now, as we're closing out these old cycles, will allow our minds to kind of venture off into these spaces of new adventure. So maybe we can imagine things that we didn't think were possible before. And being able to imagine things that weren't previously possible, I think, is very important for the process of bringing those things into fruition. We have to think it's possible first, and we have to be able to imagine it in our minds first before it can physically happen, before we could bring it into the physical realm. So I just wanted to share those thoughts and insights, even though I'm not feeling that well today, because honestly, even though I'm not feeling well, I'm really excited. I'm actually really excited about where this energy is taking us. Now, okay, that's the other thing I wanted to say too. There is a lot of chaos in the world right now, like a lot. It just seems like every week or every few days, there's something going on. There's something happening. And I live in New York, and there's so much violence, like violent things going on. And I know when there's so much chaos in the world, it can cause us to feel scattered, unsafe. It can cause us to really start like doom scrolling and looking into what is so and so saying about what's happening, and what are the people on TikTok saying about what's going on. But I would actually advise against that. I would actually say, with anything that you see being reported or anything that you see being shared on the news, to limit your consumption of what people may be saying about it on social media. Unfortunately, with the age that we're in, social media having such an effect on people, and basically everyone has a platform now to speak. You don't necessarily have to have certain credentials or be reliable to have to say what you think about something. And so I feel like we're not even really realizing how much we're taking on other people's opinions as our own, because they have this platform that they can speak on now. And I think we have to be really careful with that, because all because someone says something and it's on social media, it doesn't mean it's true. And that sounds like such a obvious thing to say, but it's what's happening though. Like, people are getting sucked up into other people's opinions on things, and really it's just a thought about what's happening. It's an opinion on what's happening. It's not necessarily the truth. And I think if we allow ourselves to take in so much of what's on social media, we end up being all over the place, and we can become disconnected to how we really feel about things. And that's super important, is how we feel about things. So I would have actually advised people against doom scrolling, against going on TikTok and seeing what all these people are saying about what's happening, and just stick with the bare bones of what the events are, and remain centered, remain connected to your own feelings about it and your own divine connection, and let that guide you. So with everything that's been going on personally, I haven't been really looking at what other people are saying at all, whether it be about the drones, or whether it be about the fog that people are supposedly talking about, whether it be about the violence that's been. I haven't really been engaging. And if I do have friends or people that are posting on social media and talking about it, there is a boundary there. I'm like, okay, that's what they think. That's what they think. That's their opinion. All because they're feeling strong about it doesn't necessarily mean it's true. So I'm giving myself permission to pull myself back, take a step back, and to just observe. Just observe. Be careful of allowing yourself to get caught up in this vortex of varying opinions on all this stuff that people are saying. We have to be mindful of being pulled out of our center by what's going on. There's nothing wrong with having some fear, trepidation around what's going on. I get that. That's a natural human thing. But don't add to it. Be mindful of adding to it unnecessarily, okay? So that's all I wanted to share. I'll be taking it as easy as I can today. And I send you all so much love. Take care. Bye-bye.